Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tony DeMakis with Alliance Specialties and Alliance Laser Sales, where we are mold makers that don't build molds. We do all the other things that you, the mold maker, need done. Polishing, laser welding, laser engraving, hot runner repair, preventative mold maintenance, all of those things that the mold maker doesn't have staff to do or have people to do or have personnel to do. It's really, really hard to find people and professionals in all the areas. And so we want to be an extension of your tool room and help you out. And that's what we're here for, right? That's how things get better when we all find ways to work together and do that for the common good so that we can make a difference. Like if we could just do that, it would be fantastic. If you like the show, if you're interested in getting more information, please like, subscribe, wherever that is, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram sometimes. Just like, subscribe, follow. Justine and I are going to get back on the road soon and do some more Make Manufacturing Fun Again stuff, and you're not going to want to miss any of that, and all of it will be there. We are getting ready to head out to PT Expo. PT Expo is coming up March 17th through the 19th in Rosemont, Illinois. It's probably my favorite mold and plastics show because it is intimate, right? Like NPE is huge. It's a monster. It's ridiculously big. You can't even remember the conversations you had from one day to the next, much less the whole week. But PT Expo is special. It's different. It's more intimate. It's like you've already been on a number of dates and now you already know the people. It's not so much a feeling out as a relationship building. So I love this show. I always love this show. We will be there and we will be showing off some of our latest equipment, our Advantage laser engraver, our Spark laser engraver, our ID1 laser welding system, and our ID1 FW laser system. If you are trying to get to PT Expo, go ahead and scan this QR code and it'll take you there. One of the other things that we're doing is the Monday of setup. In the afternoon, like after everybody's done setting up, we are going to head out to Feed My Starving Children. If you've never done Feed My Starving Children before, it's awesome. I would say it's the greatest opportunity for networking. You just get together with like-minded people that want to make a difference, not just for themselves and their own little kingdom, but for the kingdom, right? And so Feed My Starving Children, we get together, we package food for underprivileged people and children. And it's great. It's like an hour and a half. We just talk, we network, we have fun, we package food, and we make a difference. So we're going to be doing that. If you need information on it or you want information on it, please just send me a direct message, DM, whatever that looks like, email Tony@alliancelasersales.com, and we will get you some information on that. And while we're at PT Expo, we're going to be showcasing our machines. This is the ID1 fiber laser. It is perfect for tool rooms. It's perfect for production welding. It's perfect for all those things. And it's perfect for you to be able to make a difference because for every purchase of an ID1 or ID1 FW, if you mention this, if you tell us that you're interested in it, a portion of that sale will go towards the Tim Tebow Foundation to help end human trafficking. It's really, really important to us. And hopefully it's important to you. So when people say, what makes you different from the other laser welding companies? Well, we want to give back. We want to make a difference. We want to be there to support you and support other people and make an impact in ways that actually matter, not just the bank account. So please join us. And if you just want to have a demonstration, call us. We'll come out to your facility. We'll do a demonstration. We'll walk through all that with you. We've got some good shows coming up. Today, Sarah Hartwick is going to be joining us. And then next week, if all goes well, Elizabeth Detmel from Sussex IM, and then March 11th, Shane Grant from Machining Momentum will be with us, and we are continuously booking up more and more guests. I'm really excited about today, though, because this is like, I think it's been like 2 years in the making. Mostly my fault for dropping the ball a few times. Hopefully she won't say that and throw me under the bus, but it's just true. I'm just being honest. It's my fault. But things have been busy. And Sarah Hartwick has been gracious enough to say that she would join us and talk about what's going on in Illinois and manufacturing as a whole, because it's something that if you're in Illinois, you hear a lot of mixed things back and forth. You don't know what's true. You can listen to your accountant, but it also matters what your accountant believes and what that looks like. And so I am one of those people that just likes to ask the people that are in the know instead of just listening to the things. And sometimes it gets me in trouble. But Sarah, thank you for joining us. You have the world's largest job title.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we do here at the IMA. And you did not drop the ball. I am an elder millennial and do not track LinkedIn as much as I should. So I think it was both of us on that one. But
that's fair.
Yes, my job title is very long. But I've been at the IMA it will be 5 years next month. So they just keep adding things.
The Senior Vice President, Corporate Board Secretary, and Executive Director of the IMA Foundation.
Yes.
Like, that's double-sided business card right there.
Yes. Yes.
Just with a job title.
Right. Yeah. Let alone the job duties, but yes.
So what is all that? I mean, what is in real people speak? What does that mean?
So we had some changes at the IMA. We unfortunately lost our amazing COO, which is when my job title expanded to senior vice president. But prior to that, I was focused, and my portfolio still continues to include the education and workforce efforts on behalf of the IMA and supports for IMA members. So that is the majority of my day is spent talking to IMA members, talking about their workforce needs, being involved in those policy discussions to see, what makes sense, supporting our education systems for alignment. So that's what the majority of my day is.
Okay. And you enjoy that, I'm guessing.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. As a millennial who's been at a job for 5 years, that says something.
Yeah. Because typically you think people are just bouncing from place to place?
They are. I think it started with and that's why I say elder millennials, and this is what my members, my manufacturers are experiencing now is people are no longer graduating high school, graduating college, entering a job and staying with that company until retirement.
Yeah.
And that is, as much as people want to complain about it, that is just the reality. And so it really has shifted a mindset of employers, including manufacturers, of what do we do with these employees while we have them? How do we make them want to stay, but also prepare for them to leave, because that's the trend.
What is it that most people leave for? Is it money? Is it environment? Is it culture? What are you seeing most of?
Those companies that were most successful during COVID because their employees stayed was culture. Now, there was also, I would say, number 2 is money, because we had a lot of my manufacturers call and say they were losing employees to the fast food restaurant down the street because their billboard said they paid $19 an hour. And when looking at their own employment contract with the manufacturer, they were at $18 an hour without understanding the benefits, the retirement, the health, all of that stuff. And so, but the most important thing for a successful company, those companies that have high retention rates, it's culture.
Yeah. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think anybody has ever left our company because of culture. They've never told me that. So, that's something. But I also don't hear all the stuff and all the reasons. When you get to own the company, people don't always tell you the reasons that they're leaving.
Well, I tell my employers, you shouldn't not know why someone is leaving.
Yeah.
You should. There are so many tools, including the stay interview, which, why are you staying at this job? What makes you come to work every day, especially on manufacturing floors that do not have the opportunity to be remote? Why are you choosing to come to this place every day?
Yeah.
What would you then like more? Because the exit interviews, people are already checked out, and they're either going to not be very significant or be really, really raw and honest. And it's checking in on a regular basis, be it as the owner, assigning staff. There's, of course, a bunch of third parties that offer to do that work, but it's checking in and saying, why do you like coming here? Also because that's a marketing piece.
Sure.
Because maybe we weren't thinking to highlight that we have a yoga studio on the second floor that people can just go to throughout the day, or a health and wellness room, or, not necessarily all in those two categories, but there's things that you may not be thinking about people really like about coming to work every day. And you ought to be able to market that.
Yeah. And the reason I ask is because, we hear that all the time, that people don't leave a good culture. They leave, it's not always about the money. But I think in my latest experiences, most people that have left voluntarily, it has been for money, which is just a hard thing, because as a manufacturer, sometimes it's hard because you can only charge so much for the things that you're doing. And both of those things have to rise together, right? So like you've got employees going like, how much more do we have to do? Like, we're already working X amount of hours. We can only do so much work, but we all want to make more money. So trying to rise those things together is very, very difficult.
I think manufacturing has an upper hand in this space. Also thinking about the trends that we're seeing with Gen Z, that we will see as Alpha enters the workforce, is that it's not about money. The Gen X, millennials, boomers, they were fine with work hard to play hard.
Yeah.
And that is not the culture that seems to be going throughout these next generations that are entering the workforce. So it's not always about money. Manufacturing has, and we've been working on it, a marketing problem with the optics of manufacturing, as well as the pay of manufacturing. In Illinois, salary and benefits average for manufacturing employees is almost $80,000 a year. Now that's salary and benefits, but the average is almost $80,000 a year. Okay. I mean, these are living, family sustaining wages in this industry. Now, again, they still have the optics of dark, dirty, dangerous, all that we're trying to work through. But manufacturing, they are good paying jobs. And it is the majority of the economic output in the state of Illinois. So it is a strong sector. It is sustainable. It's, with all the reshoring that happened, it's not going away. And that gives manufacturers the upper hand, but they have to tell that story.
Right. That's one of the things I've been trying to push all of the, acronym associations that we belong to, whether it's, IMA or TMA or AMBA or Plastics Association, like any of those things, not just Illinois, but all of them. Everybody seems to be trying to just do their own thing, instead of saying like, how do we pool our resources to tell the story about how important manufacturing is, and find a way to make it sexy again, right? Because that's what people are interested in. Like, nobody cared about motorcycle choppers until Orange County Chopper said, hey, look at this cool thing. Look, watch, we fight, we argue, we make it entertaining, and then we put together this amazing piece of art. And then people are like, I want to do that. I want to build choppers. I want a chopper. Nobody cared before. Like, it's an obnoxious bike. Really. I mean, it looks uncomfortable, but it became this sexy thing, where people wanted to be part of that. And I keep thinking that manufacturing is right there. I mean, there's so many things that people don't recognize and realize about manufacturing. But how do we combine resources? Because it's expensive to do all that stuff. How do we combine resources to be able to tell that one unified story that allows parents to then say, hey, you know what? This is a good career path for my kids.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm dying with the Orange County. I have not heard of that show for decades, and that's amazing. But I will also point out, awful culture, extremely toxic workplace culture.
Yes, awful culture. I
watched it a lot. My dad, to this day, still rides Harley, so I'm very familiar. Not choppers, Harleys. But so the state of Illinois, was it 3 years ago, included in their budget after an IMA request to the governor, $7 million for a manufacturing jobs campaign. And they did a lot of work. It was last year. It took some time to your point, connect those silos. Where are the pain points? What is a communication method needs to be? They hired an influencer. But it is, to your other point, it is such an expensive effort because it all really relied upon digitizing the campaign, social media, marketing, and you would know better than me. That's very, very expensive to do. Because you also have to target that messaging and find the areas that, have the individuals that are graduating from high school. I mean, it's so layered. So I know that that the state of Illinois, I've been in conversations, they're looking at ways to continue that work and without sufficient funding. And we're always making ourselves available to DC, the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and the governor's office to continue that work because it is important. But it's also the local voice is so huge in this telling of the story of manufacturing. I recommend to a lot of my members, and I've had a handful of them actually do this, and they're like, oh my gosh, Sarah, that worked. Have the optics is not just with the current generation. It's the older generations that are telling their kids, no, don't go work at this dark, dirty, dangerous place because I was there 40 years ago, whatever, and this is what it looked like.
Yep.
And so one of the tools that I tell my manufacturers to do, and like I said, a handful of them actually did this, was I said, have a community event, have pizza, invite the parents, focus on the students, and show everyone what your manufacturing floor looks like today, what the jobs look like today, the various levels within manufacturing. And I have had a handful of employers call me back and say, we actually hired the parents.
Oh, wow.
Because they were shocked at what it looks like today. Because they drive past this building every single day. It looks the same from the outside. They have no idea what's going on the inside. And that was just the opinion that they created. At the IMA, every year we do Makers on the Move bus tour.
Yes.
And part of that bus tour is to bring awareness to the manufacturers, to my previous point. I mean, it's amazing. The facility, like Ferrera in Chicago, is a brick building on the west side. You drive past and it's just very unassuming. You go inside and they're making nerds.
Yeah.
Like they are making the candy that the kids are eating. And you just have no idea. And so that bus tour is not only to celebrate our manufacturers, but to bring awareness to the communities and then therefore the state through our incredible social media team of what is manufactured in people's backyards that they don't even know about. And then we do tours. Let's actually, as a part of this, we're celebrating the manufacturer, we're showing what the outside of the building looks like, and now we're going to tour. Come to the inside and look at all these different, barrels of nerds and how it all comes together and how the gummy comes together. I mean, and that's of course a big major brand. But the story is the same when you drive past that building. And so we have tried to make a lot of effort in bringing that awareness at the state level, but it's on those local employers to be also telling that story.
Yeah, I think too many times people are, I think a lot of manufacturers are very old school in their thinking and their way of doing things. And it becomes difficult because they think people are just going to use them because they've always used them and they don't have to do anything new and creative to get attention. Like bring people from the outside in to show off what it is that you're doing, or recognize that you have a story that's worth telling.
I mean, that's a new thing anyway. The storytelling kind of there's more, I mean, it's new and there's more platforms in which to tell that story. During COVID, when manufacturers are just like, where are the people? Well, they are gathering. Is it a church event? Is it a community event? They are gathering. So make that connection, start to tell that story. I will say though, that it's 5 years, almost 6 years. Wow. Almost 6 years out of COVID. I do not come across too many manufacturers that have that old school way of thinking anymore.
That's
because
great.
honestly, they won't survive if they are still thinking like that. And if they are, it's you have to be up to date with the times. You have to have, I mean, even so much conversations on your job page. You know, that's marketing, you know, not just like accountant number 3. What does this person actually do? So you grab the interest from an accountant or a plant manager or line man, you know, whatever. And they really have, I mean, we've seen incredible success when you think of everything you do as a part of your story, as a part of your brand, as a part of your marketing strategy, and tie that together. So they just haven't been forced to do that anymore. And storytelling, like I said, it's a newish thing.
Yeah. And when it comes, I know specifically when it comes to like mold makers, they are behind. They are like the old school of old school for the most part when it comes to that. Like, you know, they, a lot of times they built their first website and it's the website they still have, you know, like, it's not good. It's not pretty. They have to get better at these things. You just do. And, you know, sometimes they sit back and they think, you know, the work is just going to come. And I think those days are gone of the work just coming because there's so many different options and places that, you know, their customers can go to.
I mean, I think you're right. Like I said, I don't, at least the manufacturers, the members that I'm talking to are those ones who are like, we were in crisis or we are in crisis. What do we need to change? You know, we see other companies that are not in crisis, whatever that crisis may be. You know, what can we use? What is successful in actually improving this? And the same could be said, you know, as you know, when I started at the IMA, it was all about Industry 4.0.
Yeah.
And manufacturers of how do we prepare for this and what do we need to know? And, you know, we're trying to determine our talent pipeline, but we don't know what manufacturing looks like. You know, we don't have a complete picture with Industry 4.0. Well, now, I mean, you have AI and automation and robotics, and it's those employers, I mean, really across the board, it's not just limited to manufacturing, that are not paying attention and navigating this space. I mean, this is an industrial revolution. It's a manufacturing revolution. Manufacturing is going to change and it's going to look different a year from now, 5 years from now, and significantly different in the future.
Yep.
And those that are paying attention, that are just thinking, even just starting to think about what that looks like for their own company, are going to be incredibly successful as we navigate whatever the future holds when it comes to manufacturing. But manufacturing is going to be, and maybe I just geek out about this, so cool in the next 5-10 years. It's going to be amazing.
We were just talking about that the other day on what areas we might be able to use AI in our business, because everything that we do is hands-on. You know, when you're repairing molds, there's not much you can do that a robot or, you know, the computer is going to tell you. You have to be able to look at those things yourself and make decisions on what that mold needs and what that's going to look like and how you do it. But that doesn't mean there's not behind the scenes back end stuff that could make us more efficient and more profitable in different areas.
Yeah. I mean, AI is all about working alongside the current systems of production. And I love that you brought up that critical thinking piece, because it is not, I mean, there are not enough kids being born that will enter the workplace when they're 18. I mean, my kids, I saw a stat of, you know, those kids that are going to be 18 and 20. I was like, oh my gosh, those are my 11-year-olds. There's not enough, they're twins. There's not enough people to fill all those jobs. So it is going to be a natural transition where you are implementing AI, using robotics. Now, those individuals that are working in manufacturing are just going to need a different set of skills, because the manufacturing floor is going to be different.
Yeah.
So they're going to need those critical thinking skills. They're going to need those tech skills. They're going to be familiar with that. And that is really the space that I think everyone needs to be thinking about when it comes to AI. I mean, AI is as we see it being implemented, we have to be, it can be scary because there's so much unknown. We even see the state legislature trying to think about if there's any laws that they can enact to limit or protect individuals from AI. And the minute you write the word on the proposed legislation, it's changed and irrelevant. And, manufacturers and companies really abroad, all over, are navigating this.
Sure.
But there's a way to be extremely thoughtful. There's a lot of, I have a lot of companies that have been so smart in developing AI policies to protect, not only their cybersecurity, but protect their own employees from what they're doing. There are solutions out there, but it's not, we did this and it's done.
Right.
It has to be an ongoing conversation. And at the same time, I was on a panel a couple of months ago where they were talking about how to incorporate AI into all of the college courses. Because both for student protection of understanding, as you can't just ask chat to write a paper for you, but also how to think about AI as you're entering whatever career path you're entering. So it's the employers are learning to navigate this and become better educated at the same time as education. And it's just really important to be flexible and cautious, but there's ways to use it to your advantage.
It's a powerful tool. And I think the key is it has to be remembered that it's a tool. It can't be just the answer, right? It's never going to be just the answer. It's a tool to help us get to the solution that we all want. But it can't just be the answer.
Absolutely. It will not be. It will never be. And again, employers, you just have to, these are just the times. Nothing has ever changed this quickly in the history of manufacturing, except for the Industrial Revolution, than it is right now for manufacturers, even just literal production, not to mention all the other unknowns that they're navigating or, unsteadiness that they're navigating. It's incredible. Like I said, it's exciting, it's intimidating, but there's such amazing opportunity.
Right. We were just talking about it yesterday where we were talking about our delivery staff. So we have 3 drivers that are always on the road, delivering stuff, picking stuff up. And, sometimes it's a nightmare trying to figure out what the routes are for people to be most efficient. And, some of our leadership team and I were talking, we were like, well, wait a minute. If all you do is put the addresses into ChatGPT or whichever one you choose and say, we have 3 people that can go out at the same time, arrange these addresses in a way that makes sense, have each one go to 3 places, give me the response. And it'll do it. You don't have to spend a half hour trying to figure out, okay, well, which one is this? And this one should go there and that needs to go there. If you give it the right prompts, it'll do that. And that's not something that somebody needs to sit there and waste their time doing.
No, and it makes you more efficient. Right. And again, I want to keep saying, because I know that this is a fear, is in that instance, it's, you could have an assistant or someone do that work, but it'd be a waste of time. But wouldn't it be better because there's AI available to expedite this process? But how amazing would it be for that assistant that you would do that? It would ask to do that, to instead have the skills to do, something else. Right. We're upskilling. People are going to become smarter. They're going to be more highly skilled. And it's so, and again, at the same time, there's not enough people for these jobs anyway. So we're not replacing. It's always going to be alongside.
It's the same conversation with robotics and automation, right? People were worried that robots were going to take their jobs. And the reality was that robots are going to take the jobs that are there, but not the people. The people are now going to be run for robots and be able to be more efficient for the businesses, not to take your job, but to give you a better job.
Absolutely. When we started our bus tour, we went to this amazing manufacturer, Knapheide, in Quincy, Illinois. When you drive behind any utility truck, you will now, I hope you look, you'll see Knapheide on the back. They automated their lines.
Okay.
And the conversation, I had just started at the IMA, maybe I was a year in, and I was, how did your employees feel about this? Because to your point, it was, everyone just heard, oh, they're going to replace us. And they were like, we brought them alongside this entire process. We talked to them about it. We said, okay, your job is going to look different because of XYZ. And here's what we're doing to make sure that you have those skills and supports to do this new job. But we're not losing you. And again, that comes down to culture and trust.
Right.
And they did this 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and have had incredible success.
I think you're right. It does come down to culture and trust as a whole. And trust is one of those big ones. I mean, you and I talked about it briefly. I know a lot of Illinois businesses who don't seem to trust Illinois. I know where some of it comes from. What's your message to people who are like, we got to look at getting out of Illinois, much like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a hard thing. And it seems like it gets more and more difficult every year. Like there's just different tax laws that make it more difficult. There's different things that happen. I'm not leaving Illinois. It's too much of a nightmare. I don't want to do that. But what does that look like for you? I mean, I'm sure that you guys hear that all the time.
I hope you're also telling the Chicago Bears not to leave Illinois.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous all by itself. I mean, come on.
I know. I tried explaining it to my 11-year-old the other day, and I was like, well, there's taxes, and this is what they want. And he's like, it's the football team, 11. Yeah. I will say that we, for the first time in a long time, and our president and CEO, Mark Densler, actually said this, and I realized how much it rung true, is that we have a governor and a DCEO, we have leaders within government that are marketing the state for business. Now, I know the flip side that you'll say to that, so we'll talk about that in a minute too. But Illinois is bringing new companies in. We are just very uniquely positioned with, again, data centers, quantum, access to water. We are a very, very strong state for manufacturing. And we will continue to do so. What I also say is that we are a very diverse state, politically, geographically, the people. We are very, very diverse. And when people are frustrated with policies that are happening at the state level, there are leaders that are making those decisions. Mm-hmm. And you have an advocacy organization in the IMA for manufacturers in the IMA. What we appreciate for the first time in a very long time, for the last, even with this current administration, our team is at the table for these policy discussions that impact business, not just manufacturing, impact business across the state. But at the same time, when you look at just the political demographics of the state, we are a blue state. So you're going to have, like I said previously, elections matter. We are a blue state. So you're going to have those proposals that may not be business friendly. And what the IMA does is we are at the table saying, okay, here is the impact that this is going to have. And can we sometimes lessen that impact? Can we remove it completely? But we are able to have those conversations. And it's incredibly, incredibly hard to navigate a political situation like we are in Illinois. But elections matter, and we are appreciative of the governor for things that he's done to help manufacturing. Now, are there things that happen that we are not happy about? Yes, and we have those conversations, and we make those statements, and it's because that's political reality. But I think within the environment that we're in and the business attraction that we're getting, it's incredible. Yeah. Now, on the other side, the IMA's job is also 75% of our members are 250 employees or less. So they're those small to mid-size. Mm-hmm. There are those ones that are scared of automation, that are sometimes scared of automation. And it's, how do we do this when our plant manager is also our HR director, who's also the owner? How do we navigate this space? And that's where we spend the most of our time in advocacy, the most of our time in programming and supports for those small to mid-sized members. But it's I mean, it's better than it has been, but Illinois will always Illinois because we're a blue state and we're extremely diverse.
Yeah. It's a struggle. Like the political thing just keeps getting worse and worse. And it feels like it's like Green Bay, Chicago, right? It's Green Bay, it's the Bears versus the Packers. There is no appreciation for the other side. There is no understanding. It's like, we hate you, we want you to lose everything, and it's miserable. I went to the Plastics Association fly-in last year, and in DC, and we met with different representatives and different people, and Senator Durbin met with us, and it was like it was a very combative situation right off the bat, and I could not believe that it went that direction. Like, as soon as we sat down, he said, I'm sure you guys want to talk about what's going on with the tariffs and this and that. And we're like, yeah, that's part of it. He's like, yeah, this jackass in the White House doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And like, you don't know where we stand. You don't know what we believe. You don't know anything. And it was just so direct that it just put up a wall right away. And I thought, is this how this just goes? How do we get past this hurdle? If this is like how an initial 3-minute conversation starts, like, wow, how do you do this? How do you see eye to eye with somebody?
I will say that what I love about the IMA is that we have conversations with everyone.
Good.
You have to be able to have those conversations. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to build the relationship with people on both sides of the aisle.
Yep.
But someone who also, I was on legislative staff when the Republicans were nervous about the Tea Party, which makes me kind of chuckle now, looking at, that's what they were nervous about, for the policies that they stood for, their own platform, what they were standing on. But it is unfortunate what has happened to politics. And I wouldn't say it's politicians' fault. I wouldn't say it's the people who elect them. It's just the nature of the beast where we're in.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to hear the hard stuff on both sides from your constituents as elected. But that's what the IMA does, is we want to be a trusted source. It's going to tell you the truth of how things are impacting manufacturers. And like I said, oftentimes the entire business community for Illinois. And we're gonna speak the truth, and let's navigate this.
We're not going to fix politics, so we don't have to talk about that more. I mean, it is what it is. That's not going to change. Hopefully with people like yourself and the advocates, and you can drop some hints and get some things moving, or like you said before, block some things so that they don't happen. We can keep manufacturing growing and moving, because I agree with you. I don't think it's going away ever. People don't realize that things don't just exist. Like you just go to the store and they think like all those pens just exist. That's not how that happens. Like, they have to be made. Somebody has to make those.
And you should tell your story of the impact that has. Like, do you know that we make this little metal thing that actually is on every single fire truck across the entire country? And how many kids are going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Beyond just the sexy stuff that people think of when they think of manufacturing, there are so many pieces, and the impact that Illinois manufactured products have across the country and the world is significant.
Just when you go to the hospital.
Yes.
Right. Like Stryker is big in Illinois. Medline is big in Illinois. Like the names go on and on of the medical manufacturing companies that are in Illinois. Yep. There's a member of our team years ago. His wife had a stroke, and it was like a mini stroke. And they went to the doctor, and he's freaked out, obviously, because he loves his wife. And while he was there, he was looking around, and the equipment that she was hooked up to, he had worked on the molds to get the parts like back up to running the way that they're supposed to run.
Yeah.
And he had like an aha moment that these things matter. The things that we're doing matter. It's not just nothing parts.
No, it's life saving. I mean, the vaccines, the medical parts, the tires that make the cars go. I mean, it's the
Yep.
semiconductors, it's the impact is so huge. And when you really think about it, so freaking cool. And there's telling your story to get more students interested in manufacturing careers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We actually have a Made in Illinois poster that we do every year.
Yes.
And we have products of what's made. And I send that to schools that I work with all the time. And they put them, actually I had a school ask for 30 of them so they could put them up in all their classrooms. And it shows all the products that are made in Illinois, because you don't realize all the really, really cool things that are made. The big brands and the little brands, like the warming. I mean, there's a company in Southern Illinois that makes warming blankets for hospitals. Those are made here in Illinois, and it's beyond just medical equipment, but it's really, really cool poster that we release every year.
So let's talk about that. How do we get more students involved? I mean, yes, we can tell our stories. But a lot of times the students don't even know that these kinds of careers exist, whether that's, having the classes, having a shop class, having those sorts of things. How do we get more students involved, teachers involved, administrators involved, and parents involved?
So it's all about awareness and exposing students to all of the careers within your community. That's why it's incumbent upon the employers to be very involved in this process as early as possible. Bringing a third grade class to tour the manufacturing plant and see what it looks like and see what they make. I mean, that piques interest.
Sure.
You have to have and I think this is shifting. I know this is shifting in that not everyone is going to a 4-year college post high school graduation.
Yep.
And there are manufacturing jobs that do not require a 4-year degree to work on those floors. So it's also catching those students. I have one member that works with their local high school. After high school graduation, they have a career fair for all of those kids that have not decided what's next, or just know they're not going into college. Go talk to all these employers that are ready to hire you right now with your high school diploma. And it's those connections. So it's so much about the local relationships, exposing students to manufacturing careers. I mean, I would say all careers, obviously selfishly manufacturing, as early as possible in like the middle school. Yep. And then continuing to work with them, internships, job shadowing, pre-apprenticeship programs. There's so many opportunities to keep these students engaged. And you'd be surprised how many kids, when they pique their interest, if you work alongside them, they continue through that pipeline. And the IMA has a grant that actually proved this. The number surpassed our own expectations. We have a grant from DCEO. We call it the STAMP grant, the Scaling Transformative Advanced Manufacturing Pathways grant.
Man, you guys like titles.
That's education. That long one is education. That's what we call it. It's the education world, because we work with Northern Illinois University, their education systems center, and we're in 9 regions building out these pathways. And when we had initially applied for the grant, we thought 9 regions, 500 kids, whatever. We are at 8. We are now 4 years into the grant. We have had 1,800 kids go through, or they're still in the process or working through this program, because when it takes, and our role in this grant is bringing the community together, having the manufacturer at the table, the high school, the community college, whatever other stakeholder that community thinks is needed, and having conversations to make sure everything is aligned. And just we are so flexible with this grant that some of them just host a lunch and bring everyone together, or they buy textbooks, or they have a summer at camp, it's very flexible because it's working.
Yeah.
And we trusting the communities to do this work. And it has been really amazing to see that peak and continued interest, just because there is intentional outreach on career awareness and walking these kiddos through this, specifically the manufacturing talent pipeline.
Yeah. I know, the old mold maker, not me, because that's never been my thing. They'll say, shop classes need to come back to high schools. We need to expose kids to what what's possible. Like, we're getting kids to work with their hands again. And I think it's getting there a little bit. There are other robot clubs, there's different things, but it's not what it used to be. I mean, but again, things change. And we had a whole generation of people that said, we don't want our kids to work in a shop. Get rid of that. Let's just do college prep.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's also what manufacturers are dealing with when they're trying to pressure their schools. Hey, their high schools, we want a course on this. We will help you develop the course. And unfortunately, just because of what has happened decades ago at the national level, it was all about college, 4-year, college ready. When you look on the state report card, or school report card on the state site, there is what percentage of kids are going to a 4-year. And even, policy is always slow to catch up to reflect what's actually happening. We work very closely with the CTE administrators, which is the old VOCA. It's college and career technical education. And they're the ones who are offering those courses and embedding CTE into other parts of, to your point, the physical school. You used to have, because that was the optics, is shop class was at the end of the hall next to the automotive, it was all down there. And those kids were not going to college.
Yes.
That's changing because the workforce demands it and the employers demand it. And because there's incredible opportunity, career, pay with those jobs that people either overlooked or didn't take seriously before. So, the state is funding those programs. We actually, in the governor's proposed budget, there's a capital recommendation for funding for those career and tech schools that some of them haven't been updated since the 60s and 70s when they were built.
Yeah.
And so bringing those up to date with what's also happening on the manufacturing floors, it is no longer the case where those students are not going to get good jobs because they're not going to college. And I feel like this is all back to storytelling, but it's sharing that.
It is. And I look at it too. And when you think of like, where's the workforce? Right? There's not a big enough workforce. Well, you've got like 1 million people working at Chipotle or, Chick-fil-A or whatever that looks like. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased. As an adult, I don't think I'd want to work at Chipotle. I think I would want more of a career path where I have a set schedule and 40 hours a week and insurance and benefits and all of those sorts of things. And I think a lot of times manufacturers are just looking for that person that wants a better situation and a better job. And they'll take a chance on somebody if they just come and apply and say like, I don't want to work nights and weekends anymore. Are you hiring? I'm willing to learn and train.
They will take anyone who shows an interest in manufacturing. They will walk through and try to find a place for them because there's just such a need, and especially those younger generations that are eager to learn, up to date on tech, understand more of what's coming down the line. But I think that's something that everyone kind of goes through. I don't want to comment on Chipotle and if their employees are happy or not, but I love the food. But,
me too. I had it for lunch today. That's why
it was
delicious.
Yeah. But again, manufacturing offers those life-sustaining wages. It's the flexible scheduling. It's consistent scheduling. We've navigated that with COVID of, people want to work remote. Well, it's manufacturing floor. And as AI comes on, we'll have to see how that changes, but it's a stable, well-paying job.
Yeah. I was talking to a lawyer friend of mine, associate, sort of friend. We played hockey together one time. We were on the same team, but he's a lawyer. And I was talking about when all the tariffs happened and how it was a good thing for our business because it meant that things were being reshored. And so it was a good thing for our industry and for our business because now it gave American manufacturers an opportunity to compete at that level. And his response was like just so ignorant. And he said, you know, you're one of those people who thinks that manufacturing is still relevant. It's this dead, you know, extinct industry where, you know, nobody wants to be part of anymore. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it was the most arrogant answer I'd ever heard. And just so wrong in so many different ways. And it blew my mind. And, you know, it turns out it's 100% political. You know, whether or not he truly feels that way or not, it was a political statement, not anything more than that. And, you know, the reality is like I said, I like talking to people like yourself who are living these things every single day, that actually have real knowledge and experience in what's happening, not the hearsay, not the Fox, not the CNN, not the MSNBC, not any of those things, but what you're truly seeing, living in the conversations and communication that you're having. That makes a difference.
I would say I've never heard anyone say manufacturing is dead in my entire career. But it's, I mean, it's, no offense to your generation, I don't know that we're that far off, but that's the older generation, and most of them are retiring, and our focus is getting the kids interested, getting those adult learners, displaced work, whatever, getting them interested, because it's an easy sell.
Yeah. And there's, listen, if you're looking for a job, if you're somebody that's looking for a job, or you know somebody that's looking for a job, literally all you have to do is show up at a manufacturing place and say, I'm willing to learn and be trained. And they'll find a place for you.
Right.
Now it's up to you to continue to show up and put in a good effort and give it your best and be curious and be humble and realize that you don't know all the things and be trainable, like all those things you need to do. But you know, there are people that are ready to hire all the time.
Yes. And those companies need to bring those individuals along with them throughout their career journey to support them. You know, I hear all the time about, you know, they're not showing up on time, or they're not It's, I mean, I'm not saying I know that that's happening. But it's how you have that connection to make that person again want to come to work every day and do their best and be on time. And it's both sides that have a role in that. But yeah, the manufacturers, they will hire you.
And even that, I mean, you and I were talking about before we jumped on how we both tend to have a problem being late for things. It's a reality, right? And I think if you can just have a conversation with people, like, things have changed where you don't have to do things like the dark ages where the horn sounds and you start work, and the horn sounds and you take a break, and the horn sounds and you go back to work, and then the horn sounds and you go to lunch. And like, it doesn't necessarily have to be that anymore. I think that we've evolved as people to be able to get past some of those things.
Yeah, I mean, shift work is a little different because there's you know, time and processes, and everyone depends on each other, and that's what makes it difficult for manufacturers to understand that I don't want to say understand, but difficult to navigate when someone is late. You know, you're 5 minutes late, we have to start the shift, but it's that conversation. It's knowing the employee and knowing, you know, what happened and why are they 5 minutes late, and it's something. You know, like this morning I was late to a meeting because my oldest couldn't find his vocab test, and I didn't admit this, but I accidentally threw it in the garbage. He wrote notes on the back of it. I didn't know that that's what it was. But it's there's just, when you have that supportive culture and understanding the full human that is working with you, that is incredible for and informative for both sides.
And when we, you know, going back to what we were talking about before, the AI and automation, we do have to take the full human into consideration. That you know, that's who we're doing these things for, is for the betterment of the real human.
That's manufacturing and all of AI. We're just trying to improve everything that we're living with and everything that we're doing.
Yeah. So your opinion, the skills gap that's here, How are we navigating this? What is Illinois doing, and how do we need to tackle it?
Yes. So again, like I said, the skills gap is going to continue to widen just until we really understand what the next 5 years of manufacturing jobs look like. But when you are navigating this space, it is so important that you have industry aligned with education, having those conversations of, we need this type of program to support this employer. It's incredible. I mean, I tell all of my companies, like, have you talked to your community college when it comes to what type of skills that you need those kiddos to have when they exit that program and become workers, and develop those types of programs if they don't have those programs. And then the same thing with with 4 years, it's anticipating what engineers are you going to, because they will be a significant part of manufacturing in the future as well. But it's having that alignment between the education systems and the industry that will really kind of narrow that gap as much as possible over the next couple of years. And there was an effort even recently, I mean, that shows how the education systems are listening and responding. And this is not just community colleges, because I was on a call with another university actually before this one, of they're doing this as well, of the short-term certificates. What are different offerings that we can have, because the employers don't have the time to necessarily have someone lose a whole semester for one skill. So how can we get an employee access to some type of certification, but also, because it's about the humans, make sure that they can also stack that and get an associate's degree or a 4-year, whatever they want after that. But the education world is responding to the needs of the employers, of the quick turnaround. And like I said, the community college, it was one of the associations actually put together a manufacturing workforce ecosystem proposal that needed some significant funding. So unfortunately wasn't signed into law, but it had all the community colleges work together and determine, what are their strengths and what short-term certificates can they offer. And if Kishwaukee can't offer this, can do, COD offer it instead. And it was really an incredible program. But my takeaway from that was that the system is working. It just needs to continue to align.
Yeah. And I mean, we're behind, right? So it's an uphill battle to try and get all these things done.
I mean, we're behind, because you always wish that you had planted the tree yesterday.
Yes.
But that's okay. So what can you do to keep that from happening again? And how can you keep moving forward and understanding your own needs and forecasting, as we also talked about before, what are your needs going to be? And you need to be having that relationship and the connection with your education systems, because that is going to help with the skills gap more than anything else.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's getting better. I mean, we've got quite a few younger people working here, like, and they're, 19, 20, 24 years old. They don't know what they want to do. They never figured that out in school. There was nothing that stood out to them as like, this is my career path. This is what I want to do. And so we bring them in, and they're great. They're great human beings, and I love them. They're hardworking, and they want to make more money, and they want to make an impact, and they want to make a difference. And it's great seeing their energy every single day. And I think that's what, some businesses are missing out on. And you don't need to have a full resume, right, of all the things. You just need to have a willingness.
And I agree with you. And I think that also changed during COVID. We had one of our big members was trying to figure out how to actually hire more people of color. And they're like, why are we not getting the applicants? What's happening? We're doing all these things. And all they did was go in and they looked at, because everything, in the 90s, early 2000s was 4-year degree, like that was just default on every job posting.
Yep.
And they looked at everything like, well, does this really need a 4-year degree? And and had an honest conversation about that. And it increased their applicants, not just for individuals of color, but for all, for the young kid. It was, you don't need someone with a bachelor's degree necessarily for all of the jobs. And just opening that window created opportunity for those students and eventually employees and for the company. And so it's employers are there and they're thinking about that and doing those things. And it's also, I love that you mentioned that you have these like 18, 19-year-olds who don't know what they want to do. Like, cool, who cares? So try it. To your point, go try and see what it's like to work in manufacturing. I mean, manufacturing will give you a chance. And, I bet you're going to love it, to be honest.
You're in high school, when you're trying to figure this out, you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. You shouldn't know what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like, how do you know what you want to do for the rest of your life? I mean, it makes no sense to me at all that kids are expected to know those things.
And that's again, like back to career exposure. Just expose them to what exists in the community. Expose them to those also so that they stay in the community, so they don't just leave and go work somewhere else in another town or whatever. Expose them to what exists and let them take time to figure it out, because it's not typical that someone wants to know or knows what they want to do, or you go through that. I mean, I went through like some type of automated system when I was in, I think probably a freshman. And it was like, you should do this. And I was like, this sounds completely uninteresting. But and this is what these younger generations are doing too, which I love so much, because I think that's part of the reason I love my job so much, is I just kept following the next path as something that interested me. Like, oh, I took this economics class in high school and I thought, the influence of government was really interesting. So let's explore government more. And that's really what people should be doing, because you want them to be interested in what they don't just want the money. They want to like their job. They want to like to show up, and they want to feel passion.
Yeah. And, we talk about it here all the time. This is not slavery. Everybody is free to come and go. I mean, you don't like your job, quit. That's the reality. I hope people like it here. I hope they want to stay. You invest a lot of time and effort and resources and human capital into people, and you want them to stay as long as they're going to stay. But if somebody really wants to leave for a different opportunity, then they have that freedom to do that. So there's nothing my point is, like, just try it. What's the worst thing that happens? You like it and it becomes a career.
Well, and ideally those opportunities are also afforded to them. We have those. We don't want too many people graduating high school and not having jobs. We don't want people graduating high school and not having a next step.
Right.
So you really, while they're kind of caught in high school, employers need to be reaching out and here's an internship, here's a shadow, here's a field trip. What can we do to at least show you? And sometimes I tell people, like, it's often more powerful for a student to be like, oh, I don't want to do that, than at least, and then or other, as opposed to being like, oh my gosh, I want to go work for them tomorrow. It's knowing what you don't like, because this is all, it's again connected to that passion and people showing up for work and being happy with themselves because they love their job. And that's what these younger generations are looking for. They want to be happy. All of it.
Yeah. Do you guys work with the TMA at all? Technology Manufacturing Association?
We do. Yeah, we do work a little bit with them.
Okay. I love them. I just saw them last week. It's great. Good people. And that's where Justine and I from the Education Foundation, we're working on our series, Make Manufacturing Fun Again. So we're doing YouTube videos where we go into Illinois manufacturers and they teach us what they're doing, show us some skills, and then teach us how to do certain tasks, usually like 3 things. And then we see which one of us is the better employee.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
And we're both not good at things. So it's great. It's
even playing field.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fine. We have no problem looking foolish, but it just shows that there is a talent to all of these things, right? They're not nothing jobs. There are skills that need to be developed. There are people that are professionals at all the things, not just, the office positions and everything. Every job needs to be respected and qualified.
I mean, absolutely. And you are still, there are accountants that are in manufacturing because they're accountants at manufacturing plants. There's, the support staff. There's all of those are jobs within the support jobs within manufacturing. But Yeah, I mean, it's fun, and again, you are showcasing, you're telling the story of that company, of what it actually looks like to work there.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And that's it. People
It's
need to do more.
It's fun. It's fun. And yes, we're telling the story. So we're meeting with the owners, we're meeting with people on the floor, why they got into manufacturing, how it happened, why they like it, what they would tell people. I'll have to send you some of the links so that you can see what they are.
Yes, please do. As a part of our bus tour, we'll have a press conference at some of the stops, and we ask the companies to invite an employee out to speak, because hearing, a lot of times it's I started here when I was 18, and then they paid for my college, and now I'm, plant manager. It's incredible. It's powerful.
Yeah, my uncle is my business partner, and he started in our company when he was 18 years old, and he's 52, 53 now. We've got people that have been working here for 30 years, and it's amazing. I mean, they continue to contribute. And I have no doubt that they're going to continue to contribute. And it's a really cool thing that I think it's sad that it's gone away, where people do have that loyalty to an employer and an employee relationship, where you can see people grow old together and get to know families, and like it sticks around, right? There's something that's missing from, in my opinion, just hopping from place to place to place to place, looking for that next best thing, instead of like, growing old with somebody and learning the bumps and the bruises, and accomplishing something and growing something and being part of something.
Yeah, I think times have just changed.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they're necessarily looking for, I can't speak to someone's experience, although as someone who has changed job, this is the longest I've been at probably any job after college graduation, for 5 years. But I don't know if they're looking for the next best thing. It's just, what keeps me coming back here every day, besides loving the job, is the coworkers, the staff, the team. We're a small but mighty team.
Yeah.
Incredible work. And I think times are just different, and it's how to navigate that for also the employers, and knowing that the individuals are going to do that.
Yep. I agree. All right. You want to play 5 questions?
Okay.
These are stupid questions. So these are the hardest ones.
Got it.
All right. If you could make one rule that everyone had to follow, what would it be?
Be nice.
Be nice. Do you have to define nice? Probably shouldn't.
Kind, considerate. You should just, I tell my kids all the time, be nice to everyone. Be nice. You have no idea what anyone is going through, why they're acting the way they are that day, why they're acting the way they are for the last year. You don't know. Just be nice.
I love that. That's a good rule. Be nice to people. Just be nice.
I said it as if I was talking to my kids too. Be nice.
Be nice. And you say that a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mom, be nice. Question number 2. What is the one thing that you are superstitious about?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I'm superstitious at all.
Good for you.
I don't have time to worry about things outside of my control.
Like for me, part of my craziness is I when I wash my hands in the bathroom, I always use 3 paper towels. 3 is like the perfect number for paper towels.
I don't know.
You don't have anything. Good for you.
I don't have anything.
You're normal.
We'll see all the other ways that I'm not. Maybe this is,
yikes.
I'm bragging to everyone. I'm sure I'll think about it falling asleep tonight. I'll be like, that's it.
That's the thing.
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. If you could swap genders for one day, how would you spend your time?
Ooh. I would want to be in my exact same role.
Yeah.
And just see the difference.
Okay.
And see, just see how men are treated differently, and how if I were to walk in a room with my title and as a man, if it's any different. I think the people, I haven't encountered anything. Of course I've just encountered several things, but not necessarily in this role or been in those environments, but I would just want to do what I do every day and see how I'm treated differently.
That's a good experiment.
I'd probably be congratulated for taking my kids to school every day. I'm a great dad.
You probably would be. Yeah. Or they would say, what's wrong with your wife?
Where'd she go?
Yeah. Why are you doing this? Which is not a good answer. by the way. I'm not saying that's a good answer, but that tends to be, that answer, which it's a weird thing. I was trying to explain that to my dad the other day because, you and I were talking about how business has changed. And he'll sit here and come in and talk to me about things and say, you need to take people out more. You need to go out for lunches. You need to go out for dinners. You need to take people golfing. You need to go do this. You need to go to that. And I was like, Dad, here's the thing. People don't want to do that anymore. They want to go to work and they want to go home. They want to spend time with their family, with their wife, with their kids. They want to be present with their kids. Like the days of 2-hour lunches are gone because then you're not getting out of work on time and then you can't get home to do the things that you want to do with your kids. It's changed. And he was like, no, you're wrong. I was like, okay.
Well, you're obviously not in politics because sometimes that drives a lot of it. They do want to golf and they do want that 2-hour lunch because that's where you're going to have that conversation about the bill that's going to pass. And you want, so it's, my day is not as structured, but I do make time for, to get home and get dinner and have us all be together.
Yeah.
Not on tablets.
I am not in politics. So that is a different world for me, but it's a thing. Question number 4. If animals could talk, what would be the rudest and why?
Animals can talk. I mean, cats for sure.
Yeah.
Right? They just judge. I'm not a cat person, obviously. I just feel judged by them. I'm allergic to them. My dad fosters cats. Fun fact, I hope he'll listen in. So at one point he had like over 20 cats he was fostering with my stepmom. Yeah. They save the, it's as far as I'll comment. They save these cats that are otherwise not going to live.
That's 20 too many cats.
I'll give you his phone number.
But I agree with you. Cats is actually the number one answer for people answering this question. And yet so many people own them. I don't understand.
I almost said parrots because for some reason that's all over my social media of like parrots kind of talking back to like police officers or people. And I almost said that, but I was like, that's obviously AI. So that's not true. I didn't want that to cloud my judgment of reality.
There you go. Hey, we talked about that too. You don't know what to believe, but the truth of the matter is cats suck. So there's that. All right. And the last question, this one might be applicable to you. How many kindergarten kids could you take in a fight before you were outnumbered?
I don't fight. I've never been a fighter. So I don't even know. I mean, I will argue with as many people as possible, but I don't even know.
But you got all these like pretend you got all these like little Pet Cemetery kids coming at you. Like these little kindergarten kids that, back from the dead after getting hit by a semi truck, and they're coming after you. How many can you take?
I don't like thinking about violence against kids. I can't even like wrap my brain around it. This doesn't make sense.
All right. Well, you can overpower your children if you have to, right? Or some of them.
Yes, I have taught them the art of debate.
Okay, good.
That is where we win. Yes.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Which is not good for their teachers, but we'll get there.
I'm sure that goes really, really well in parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, one of them is going to be a lawyer for sure, and I couldn't be prouder. I'll just survive the next 7 years.
Good for you. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's good. We had a parent-teacher conference, and oh man, I had to question the teacher on certain things, and my daughter was sitting next to me, and she just started sweating. Like I could feel the heat coming off of her body. But the teacher was wrong. So, it was an assignment where you had to write a persuasive paper, something that you were passionate about, that you were going to speak on. And my daughter said that boys should use boys' bathrooms and girls should use girls' bathrooms. She was very passionate about that. And the teacher said, you can't do that. You can't do your presentation on that. And because it might upset some people in the class. Okay, fine. I'll understand. That is what it is. The problem came when another student was able to present the opposite, that they should be, gender neutral bathrooms, and you should be able to go in whatever bathroom you want to. And so I talked to the teacher and I said, listen, I don't care. But if you allow one side of the argument, you also have to allow the other side of the argument. You cannot do that to a student. Mm-hmm. That's just not fair. And she started saying, well, we didn't know that that's what she was going to do. She didn't turn in her rough draft and she just like turned in the final assignment and all these things. And Grace, my daughter, was just like sweating. And I was like, okay, I'm just telling you how I feel. That's like, I wasn't mean. Yeah. And afterwards, Grace was like, Dad, she lied to you. That was an A student. There was no way that she didn't turn in a rough draft and get approval and go through all the steps and do all the things. So it is what it is.
That's a tough conversation, but it's, you showed your daughter that it's okay to sit in front and then share your concerns and feel heard, even if I guess, like your daughter said, you were lied to, which is extremely unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't really want me to go to any more parent-teacher conferences, but
sure.
But like you said, I think it was important for her to know, like, I got your back. I'm going to fight for you. And for the thing, it's okay to fight for the things that you believe in and push for those things and stand firm in your beliefs and not just back down. It's good.
That's an amazing lesson that I show to my kids every day.
Yeah. It's good.
Yep.
All right. So anything else that you feel like we need to cover or that you want people to know about IMA or how they can get involved in how people can get involved and what that looks like?
Yes. So we are an association that represents over 4,000 manufacturer plants in the state of Illinois. And we have an incredible network. We have incredible programming series and sponsors. I mean, our events are huge. I have my Women Maker event that I'm hosting on April 8th, bringing together all the women makers in Illinois. We had a marketing event today. So we have a lot of stuff that's going on in support of manufacturing. And at the same time, the General Assembly's in session. We're talking about the hot legislative topics about, we're watching them of what's going to pass, what's not going to pass, getting intel on that. And so all of our information, contact if you're interested in membership, it's on the website. We have an amazing membership team. We have an amazing programming team, but it's, the more the merrier, but it really, power in numbers. And we're doing the work on behalf of, honestly, the entire business community, specifically for manufacturers. But, we're really proud of what we do, and we're there to support manufacturers as much as they need. So if they ever have any questions of how we can help them, let me know.
We joined the IMA during COVID, and it's when I met Mark Denzler for the first time. And because of the IMA, we were able to stay open. And so that was like forever going to have a place in my heart, because when we were trying to figure out how are we going to, do we have to take out loans from the bank to just keep our employees afloat? This was before the banks were doing all of that, before the government was doing all that. We were trying to figure out, we don't want to lay people off. How are we going to stay in business? What is this going to look like? How do we navigate all this stuff? And the IMA and Mark started talking about being essential businesses and what that looked like and what you had to do to apply for that and how you had to put the signs on your door in case people came by and said that you should be closed or whatever that looked like.
Yep.
And it was huge for us. And so if we never get anything else out of IMA, which I'm not saying we won't, that was a huge moment for us to feel appreciated and heard, and have somebody representing us trying to push for us to be able to stay open and support our team.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't at the IMA at the time, but they drafted the essential essential employer language. And that was also implemented in other states too, because of the work that we had done. So we have an incredible team, and we're really there for all the manufacturers across the state. But whenever there's a crisis, we work to support as much as possible, and in the good times too. We have our big business day coming up. So it's our advocacy day on May 12th. So everyone will be coming to Springfield. We have a big tent party in partnership with the retail merchants. It's a lot of fun. So a lot of networking, a lot of programming and professional development opportunities when you're a member of the IMA.
Awesome. I love it. We end every show with a prayer. Do you have any prayer requests?
No.
Okay. Our church says that we have to pray for suffering then. I don't want to do that to you. That would be rude. All right. I'm going to pray and then we can go and you can have your day. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with Sarah. Thank you for her knowledge and her passion for manufacturing and for reaching that next generation. We just pray that you would continue to bless our state and our nation, bless our governor and the people that are making these decisions for us, that it would not only help this generation, but the next generations to come. And it wouldn't be about profit, but about people. Help us to focus on that. We love you, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Sarah, thank you. Thanks for the 2-year in the making conversation.
Yes, I love it.
I hope it was worth it for you. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. No, this was great. And I really appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah. Is there anything more that people need to know? How can they find you? Should they reach out? Not LinkedIn. We've decided LinkedIn is not your best avenue.
Just don't expect an immediate response. We have IMA-net.org is where all the contact information is. You'll see all of the staff up there. But yes, that's the best way. And I do check it, just not probably once a week on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I have a problem. It just stays open on my desktop because I never know when, like just for the messages and everything. So, all right. Well, thank you for everything. I appreciate you. We'll chat soon.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you again.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Sarah Hartwick from the IMA. Well, I don't even know what the AMA is. That's not what we were talking about. The IMA, Illinois Manufacturers Association. Great organization. I'm happy that we get to be part of that association for everything that they've done for us and for other Illinois manufacturers. I mean, if you're in Illinois, get involved. Call them, find out what they're doing, find out how you can be part of that, find out how you can get involved and make a difference and an impact for other people. That's what we're doing here. We all need to come together to do these things. And the next place we're coming together, that's right, PT Expo. Come join us at PT Expo. Come test out the latest and greatest in laser welding, laser engraving equipment, March 17th through the 19th in Rosemont, Illinois. And also come feed starving children with us. Come to Feed My Starving Children. It's going to be amazing. We're looking to have 50 people join us. The spots are filling up, but there is room. Just send me a DM, click on this link. I'll be back on LinkedIn. If you have any interest at all, let me know, and we'll be happy to have you join us. On behalf of myself and Sarah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care, and God bless.